What's going on? This is Fast Five. 5 questions I answer about value creation, things that are stumping the growth in your company, etc. And today we're going to talk specifically about people that own marketing agencies. But if you don't own one, you may still find value in this. And the reason why is because a lot of these things are just translatable to a lot of people's service businesses. So the first question is, it's not really a question. Actually, no, here we go. What are the top 3 value assassins that are killing agent transferability or agency transferability? So what do we mean by that? Well, things that are eroding the value of a marketing company, I call value assassins. And the first one is that you're the center of everything. You're owner dependent, you are the savior, you come in and you fix all the problems, etc. So that's a big one. Another one, and I've ran into this before, is revenue concentration into 1 or 2 big clients. So next thing you know, if you have 1 or 2 big clients that are taking up a big percentage of your revenue, you start feeling like you're beholden to those folks, and that's actually a really, really bad place to be. And then the last one is just lack of documented processes. Like that's a big one as well. Once you SOP the living hell out of your business, chances are everything's going to be there. So let's talk about how feast or famine or the roller coaster revenue messes up your value. I've been here as well. You know, somebody who wants to buy your company one day wants predictability. They don't want to see these big spikes where you went out and you killed it and then you were serving up the customer, which actually happens a lot. We spend time serving the customer and therefore take our eye off of revenue. They don't want that. They want a consistent curve up with very few. They want it to look like the stock market. They don't want it crashing. So that's a big one. The working capital issue. So if you've got cash flow issues, that's obviously going to show up in your business health, your valuation. If you're running the company hot and you're having to rob Peter to pay Paul, then that's not good. The other thing is like the feast or famine revenue site, or like the roller coaster revenue. The other thing that I like to say is it just isn't good for you. As a business owner, it messes with your head. It messes with your confidence. That typically materializes in pluses or minuses on your P&L. Why are cheap clients your most expensive clients? Boy, dude, do I have so many horror stories. Like I feel like I could do a complete probably book on this. So they're going to cost you your happiness, your sanity. They're going to actually cost you your health. I know it sounds crazy, but they will. And then moreover, you're going to lose money on your cheap clients. So think about it. They need everything to work. If they're hiring you to grow their company, they need that to work. And if it doesn't work, they may run into some of these other issues we've talked about, cash flow issues, etc. And that puts you in a weird place. So that is a bad place. Also, like the perception that you serve cheap customers, your reputation, all those things. So you just start putting yourself into a box, and that box sucks to get out of. What is the owner's burnout? What is their impact on business valuations? When you're trying to value your business, or when you're valuing your business, you're taking into account how it operates, including you, okay? And the bigger component you are in your business, the more that you can suppress and or increase the value of your company. It's just it. Like if you're in a good mood and you're a killer at sales and you're great at leading people, great. But if you suck at those things, your value is going to get impacted. And that's just the number one thing. I mean, it's brutal to say, but a lot of times the value issue, transferability, it all comes down to the owner, particularly in agencies. It just is what it is. So how do you calculate the real cost of being irreplaceable? So really what you want to do is you want to figure out what the fair market cost would be to replace yourself in the business, okay? And then so let's say I pay myself $300,000 a year. Well, is it really going to cost $300K to bring in somebody to run this business? If I wanted to have an agency manager, maybe that job's $125,000 or $100,000 a year or whatever. Okay, great. Now we've got a scenario where we kind of know like what's the actual hourly rate to replace yourself. Because as the owner, you may pay yourself more. A lot of times you pay yourself less, but what's the fair market value? And then once you know what the fair market value of of replacing yourself is there's a couple of other things I think that as an owner you should think about. You've got the seller's discretionary expenses, so your car, your mobile phone, all those things. Those are benefits that a prospective owner could come in and actually benefit from. Anything else that you're doing that's charitable donations or you're sponsoring your kids' teams like I do, whatever you're doing that benefits you as the seller or as the owner of the agency, in addition to what you pay yourself, and then you could take what really, really matters and layer that back in. It's called a process of recasting. And it's like, okay, well, Mr. Prospective Owner, these are actually all the benefits that I've taken out as the company, as the owner. If you want to buy it one day, there's actually a lot more meat on the bone. You can go replace me for $100,000. The extra $200,000, that's yours. That's free cash flow. You can take out all these sponsorship things that I've done. You could take out my mobile phone bill and all these things that you may recognize on your P&L as business expenses. Then you recast the financials, and that number out there minus a discount is probably, and a multiple is probably going to be what you get compensated for your business. Okay, but it all starts with figuring out what would it cost to place somebody in your shoes that you could just have as an employee, not as an owner. So there you go. That's Fast Five. I drop by every week. I talk about 5 things that are important when you think about increasing the value of your most valuable asset. For most of us in the game, that's business. I want you to get paid when the time comes, and I want you to get compensated and frankly enjoy the ride along the way. And a lot of things that I share with people are designed to just do that. So there you go. Have a phenomenal day. Be well.